So this is the deep dive on how to customize the Massdrop alt. And first, when I hit function key so it doesn't scare you, it goes to this rollover that's kind of rainbow and has some keys highlighted. So just so you don't get scared when you see it go rainbow. So what I'm going to be explaining is this glitter cloud mode that's on these pink keys that does the fade, and how these cyan blue keys right here don't have that fade apply. And you can turn this on and off. So it is an effect you can turn on and off, as well as I'm going to show you game mode. So we have pink and blue. Pink and blue also has an easily toggable game mode with function enter. So then only this is lit up, and this only affects the LEDs. So pink and blue has a game mode. We're also going to show you presets. So I have pink and blue. I also have green and purple. Each preset has a game mode. So we have green and purple game mode. If we go back to this, pink and cyan has a game mode, etc. And we can cycle through presets. So I have those two presets defined, and then here's the default scroll. We also have a couple different scroll directions, so we can go diagonal with G, or we can go circular with F. And we can also apply glitter to those as well. So, a couple things I'm going to show you how to configure. As long as you can edit a JSON file or such, it's very similar. It is C code, but don't get too intimidated. It's pretty easy. We're just diving into the key maps C. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the recording that I have of the screen recording. How to watch till the end if you're really serious about this, because there's some rotate presets I have. So for example, this has the preset of white to black, and this has the rotate preset of the blue and pink patterns that I made. And let me show you those patterns real quick on the rainbow pattern. Pattern change. Here's the black and white preset that I was just talking about, and here is the pink and blue preset that I was just talking about. So let's dive into the code, how to do it. Here we go. All right, today I'm going to teach you how to customize my fork of the QMK firmware for my keyboard, the Massdrop alt. You can check out this branch of the source code on the link below down in the description, and that's what we're going to go ahead and start with. So once you have this downloaded into a Linux machine, we're going to go from there. So when you first download and check out this firmware, you're going to have the folder QMK firmware. For customizations, what we're going to want to do is go into the keyboards folder, and of course you could do this all on a terminal or your command line, or you could just do it this way. So into keyboards, and the keyboard that we're configuring today is the Massdrop alt. So we go into Massdrop and alt, and here's all the custom files for the Massdrop alt. And in key maps, here's where we're going to build our own. So my key map that I have is called PleasureTech, and this is a really good starting place if you want to build from my code and use some of the functions. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this folder PleasureTech, and we're going to paste it, and then let's also rename this to your name. So name this folder your name. And in this your name folder, we have keymap.c. This is the only file you're going to need to modify to create any customizations you want. So let's go back to Visual Studio now that we have this folder created with your name, and inside that folder, keymap.c. All right, back in Visual Studio Code, we see now we have a folder called your name with the file keymap.c. Let's go ahead and open this file, and let's go ahead and close some other ones just to make it clear. So here's the keymap.c that we have. I added this note up in the top because I like Space Cadet Shift. So if you tap your shift bars, it doesn't open parentheses. Right shift bar does a close parentheses. And if you hold it, it acts like normal shift. So I just wanted to point that out, that my left shift PO, that's parentheses open, and right shift parentheses close, that's called Space Cadet Shift. So if you want that function to be the normal shift, look in the key codes. I'll leave a link down in the description below where you can find a full list of key codes for QMK firmware, and you can change that back to regular left position. Now, starting here at the LIN down to these. These are custom key codes that I have defined. And part of the reason why it's a good reason to just start with the PleasureTech key map, copy that, and paste to start making your own customizations. So here's the definitions of the key codes. And down here in this process record user function, this is where all these key codes are defined. And I added them down at the bottom, custom PleasureTech key codes. So we have LED instruction, next, orientation, circular, glitter, etc. And I'll show you what all those do here in a minute. So that's one of the reasons why you want to start from the PleasureTech config if you're working on my branch. So we don't need to see that because we copied all that in. So defining patterns is very similar to how it was previous in the default mass drop. However, I have an array of these now, and so I'll show you how this works. So we have LED instructions, pink, cyan, and white. And that's what this PCW stands for right here. And we can match layer. So if we just want layer 0 or just want layer 1, we pass match layer. If you don't pass this match layer at all, it'll work on both layer 0 and layer 1, or even layer 2 and 3 if you have those defined as well. Match ID, this is how you get specific keys. So with these IDs that I showed you how to make in the last video using a spreadsheet, this is a bitwise ID, and this allows you to have multiple keys in the same line of code. So for example, these IDs right here, this ID and this ID, these are groups of LEDs. So there's actually 4 LED controllers on the keyboard, and you need to have IDs for each of those 4 groups. These 2 IDs, when combined, is ASDF and JKL and colon. So that's like your home row keys. So if you just wanted to attach colors to your home row keys, these would be the IDs. This is the ID of all my pink keys. So that's all the keys that aren't home row. This is the escape to delete top row for this ID right here, etc. So if you need to learn how to make IDs, I'll make another short tutorial on that coming up soon. But I already do have a description previously, and I'm not going to go into that for too much time. So you see how there's a new flag that I've created of use glitter. Some of these lines get past use glitter and some don't. So you saw on my preset, on my main preset, my home row keys, when I turn glitter on, the glitter doesn't turn on. So the home row stays lit up, and all the other keys use the glitter when you turn glitter on. So if you want some keys to not be affected by the glitter pattern or the glitter effect, you do not pass this flag, and then those keys won't be affected by glitter. If you want those keys to glitter when you turn it on, pass this flag to this ID with the, pass this flag to the line with the IDs and everything. So here's the normal instructions that I have for my normal layer and how I want my LEDs to be normal keyboard running. I also have game mode. So this is the game instructions for pink, cyan, and white. And you see over here in the IDs, I have the ID of just WASD turned pink. So these are the IDs that you would use if you just want to attach to WASD. Here's, for example, just M to open maps in a lot of games. This is just the ID for key M. Here's the 1, 2, 3, 4 tab, shift, control, alt. I have those colored gold on my game mode. And so these two make one group. So we have the normal PCW and we have the game PCW. And those are LED instructions. So down here, we have an LED instructions list. Once you define LED instructions, and here's an example of a really simple one because this is what I have for default, and this just says use rotate pattern. So the top row, no glitter, everything else on the keyboard, glitters. You pass, so yeah, you define one of these, right? You define an LED instruction type, and then now you have an array. You have a list of instructions. And you also have a list of game instructions. If you don't want game mode active, then all you really need to do is up here, there's this game mode key that I've defined. Where's it at? So I have it on my enter key. Go away. LED toggle game mode is what that shorthand stands for. It's defined right here. LED toggle game color mode. So when you toggle game color mode, it goes between this and this. So you see, for default, I didn't want a different game color mode. So all I did is I added the same instruction to here and here. Whereas for the pink, cyan, and white, I have a normal LED instruction that I want for normal typing, and then I have a game instruction that I want for the second LED overlay. So each preset you have has two pieces to it. It has a normal instruction and a game instruction. If you don't want the game instruction to your preset, you can either leave it blank or copy the name in. So if we wanted my pink, cyan, and white to be the same, we could, what am I doing here? Not typing clearly, obviously. So if we wanted LED instructions, pink, cyan, and white to not have a game mode, and if you hit the game mode overlay be the exact same, that's how you would do it. But I do want the overlay, which all I really need to do is that. There we go. So each time you create one, if you want game instructions, create a second one, and that's how you switch between them. So you can have multiple. So here's my pink, cyan, and white group for normal, and pink, cyan, white for game mode. And then below this, I now have purple, green, and black. So PGB stands for purple, green, black. And here's the normal instructions for normal typing mode. Here's the normal instructions for game mode. And back to this list, so you see here's the pink, cyan, white, here's the purple, green, black, and the default I have. So as you switch through the presets, it switches through these. So it does this one first, and then you switch, and then it does this one, and then you switch, and it does this one. And if you switch again, it goes back to the top, back to this one. So you can have a list of as many presets you want in this list, and as you hit next and previous, it will go back and forth in this list. And I'll show you up here in the top of the key maps which key that is. LED instruction preset next and LED instruction preset previous. These are the two key codes that I made that switches back and forth between these, goes to the next, and etc. And that game mode toggle toggles between running this one or running this one. And of course, if you're on the next, it would run either this one, it would run either this one or it would run this one. So the last thing to talk about is this default rotate pattern that I have set up. So for my pink, cyan, and white group, the default rotate pattern that I want is going to be on pattern 0. And these patterns, how you get these IDs, these are in LED programs. And my next video, I'll be talking about making these. They're scrolling animations, color change animations. So position 0 is LEDs, pleasure tech. Position 1 is black and white. Position 2 is rainbow scroll. So from there, we pick these positions. And the default I want on my pink, cyan, white is the pleasure tech preset I made. What I want on the purple, green, black is the white and black animation I made, and the LED instructions default goes to rainbow. And this right there, as soon as you switch these, so when you go to purple, green, black, it then changes the background preset. And let me go into a little bit of how this works. So for LED flags, for the type of coloring, we have use rotate pattern and we have use pattern. So if you use the flag use pattern, you actually need to pass an ID. So this one uses pattern ID 2, but this disables the ability to change patterns, because by default the mass drop keyboard, when you hit function A or function D, it'll switch which pattern you're using. And that's what happens when you use rotate pattern. So rotate pattern utilizes A and D to switch rotate patterns. So you can dynamically change rotate patterns. Whereas use pattern, you can't switch those. And when you hit function A and function D, it does nothing. It doesn't actually change the pattern. And the pattern has to be defined for that right here. However, for rotate pattern, since you want to be able to change it as the keyboard is just sitting there running, so if you wanted to be able to change from the PleasureTech pattern to rainbow scrolling, you would be able to, but to be able to set a default for the purple, green, black, you set those defaults right here. And so that way you can still change what patterns function D and function A still run, but as you switch to that preset, the pattern is going to have a preset that it defaults to, and then you can still go back and change it. So it's all about the flags: match layer, match ID, flag null is for off, use RGB, just sets RGB values 0 to 255, and IDs on how to actually address each individual key. So once you have these customized, say for example, you made your own, we're just going to rename this one your own, because you're supposed to make up the names for these yourself. Your own. So let's say we made those ourselves. And we made some changes. We're going to save this. Now to build this, once you have your patterns made, and a lot of times you only need one group. I'm trying to build one with multiple of these groups so that I have a lot of preset patterns built in, kind of baked into the firmware. So once you have your group all defined and everything, we're just going to go to terminal and we're going to make this instruction that we just made. So let's make sure we make clean first. You don't need to do this, but I'm going to because I've been compiling things today. So we're going to make mass drop alt. What did I call it? Your name. And there you go. You can now take this file right here, massdrop alt yourname.bin. It's a binary file for your massdrop alt keyboard. Take that and flash it, and whatever you have using glitter will glitter. The default key map that I have set up is caps lock toggles glitter on and off. Shift, and these are all modifier keys. So function shift does smooth, glitter smooth. Function Z is glitter slow down. Function C is glitter speed up. Function F goes from the left to right scrolling pattern to make it a circular. And G makes it from left to right to where it's diagonal. So that's the orientation. And there you have it. From there you can add glitter, you can add different pattern orientations like diagonal or circular, as well as you can have multiple presets and the game mode. I'm really hype on the game mode, how it acts, because when I switch to playing a game, I just want to be able to do it quickly, fast, and then get back into typing mode when I'm ready to not play games anymore. So having the regular LED instructions and the game instructions, it just works. So thanks for watching. I hope that this can teach you how to build your own key map with my custom fork of the QMK firmware. It's custom because it has these lists of LED instruction presets, and it also has the game mode that you can switch between, as well as the flag use glitter. I made that as well. I hope that this helps make everybody enjoy their keyboard even more. I know I really love this keyboard. Now that I've got this customization features down, I'm digging it even more. This will be the last keyboard that I get for a long time. I know it's as close to end game as is currently out there for me currently. So I hope you got some enjoyment out of this. I hope this taught you a little bit on how to compile some of these modifications and use some of these modifications that I've listed. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I know I'm not the the best with English and talking and everything. I mean, English is my native language, but I just suck with words. I'm better with variables and math. But yeah. Leave a like if this helped you make your Massdrop alt any cooler. Make sure to subscribe for more cool content about keyboards and QMK customization. And thanks for watching.